Caesar Cipher massively downgrades Honkai Star Rail for me, in my personal opinion, and it's for a very complicated reason, and I'm gonna explain it to you right now so you understand the full picture and such. Basically, when playing gacha games, you should be very conscious about where you position this specific gacha game you're playing in this life in which you live in. For example, I played Cookie Run Kingdom, and I fully acknowledge that Cookie Run Kingdom as a game is not particularly all that good. But as a gacha game, it is pretty good. So I take all of these factors in play, and then I use them to strategically place Cookie Run Kingdom on a hierarchy in my life in which I live in. And as of now, after cracking all the numbers, doing all the data analysis and such, I realized that Cookie Run Kingdom performed really well as a gacha game that I play while eating food, while taking shits, and while riding on public transports. And that's basically the whole system that I have going for gacha games, mainly in specific, because gacha games, they're not really good games. They're not good at all, but they fulfill a role in my life, and I know where to put them on my hierarchy of prioritization and such. And to be honest, for a long while, Honkai Star Rail was pretty high on that list. Like, I would play Honkai Star Rail on my phone, you know, in public transport, but instead of gazing at the great outdoors on public transport, instead of listening to some beats on the side, instead of putting Honkai Star Rail on autoplay while I tab out and read Reddit posts and such, instead of doing all of that, I would actually just play Honkai Star Rail. Like, on the public transport, I would turn off auto battle and I would just play with my characters, and I'd play, and when the end game came out, I would play the end game, and I'd be fully focused on the end game, and it would be pretty fun, all right? But, you know, as of late, Honkai Star Rail, my faith in Honkai Star Rail, it's kind of been slipping. And before we move on to this next segment, I want to ask you this. What is the opposite of love? Is the opposite of love hatred? Or is the opposite of love indifference? And to answer that question, the opposite of love is the absence of love. And the absence of love isn't hatred, but indifference. And with the release of Caesar Cipher and Honkai Star Rail, tell me this. Do you feel hatred? Do you feel love? Or do you feel absolutely nothing at all? For me personally, it's indifference. I don't care at all about Caesar Cipher, which says a lot about my feelings towards Honkai Star Rail. Like, at the release of Honkai Star Rail, there was lots of emotions. There was happiness, there was complete tragedy, there was invigoration. And best of all, there was a great deal of love that I felt about this series. But if we look at my position, my emotions, my feelings towards Honkai Star Rail in the modern age with the release of fucking pieces of shit trash like Hyacine and Caesar Cipher, then I will begin to notice that there's nothing but indifference. No feelings at all, like the Mystic Flower from Cookie Run Star Rail. And it's really just so depressing because, you know, I really do like to make videos on Honkai Star Rail because they're really easy to make. But I'm at my limit now. I just don't care so much. And when you don't care, you know, when there's no passion in your craft, then it's just, are you really even crafting, or are you just a white-collar salaryman in Japan? And that is basically why Caesar Cipher downgrades Honkai Star Rail. At first, at the release of Honkai Star Rail, the game was a main monitor game. No tabbing out, no auto battle, no gazing out the window on a bullet train during public transport time while listening to Tyler, the Creator albums. There's none of that. Wait, shoot, I have to pick up a call. You would just play Honkai Star Rail, and you would have a fun time doing as such. The release of Hyacine led to a major downgrade in a major way. We are not playing Honkai Star Rail for the fun of it. No, we're playing Honkai Star Rail as your average gacha game. Auto battle, tabbing out, reading Reddit.net posts on the internet.com. When you're in the bullet train, you have music. You got Tyler, the Creator, Igor. You have the beautiful constructs of this world in which we live in which we view. Rather than viewing on what's in front of us, we view what's around us. We view the future, the past, but not the present time in which we live in. And with the release of Caesar Cipher, we've experienced another downgrade for Honkai Star Rail on my priorities list, on my hierarchy of things in which I do in this life in which we live in, okay? With the release of Cipher, Honkai Star Route is now no longer on any apparatuses in which I could use to play anime mobile games and such. I will also not be using video manipulating software in order to construct instances of videos to upload on this internet in which we live in about Honkai Star Route. And it's because of Cipher. She did this. Kill yourself.